Welcome to a spiritual joint where we talk about all things spiritual. Today, I'd like to talk about winter. Most of you know that there are typically four seasons in a year. It's usually based on the equinox and the solstice. And some places they have visible four seasons where you actually have spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Sometimes some places may just have a rainy season or a dry season, but a lot of places, let's say some places do have the actual four seasons. The actual winter season, the actual noticeable winter season. And just to talk about winter as far as as cycles go, winter is usually time for preparation. This is regardless of which hemisphere you're in, but the actual seasons are going to be switched. But the actual winter season is, it's a time for preparation. It's a time for renewal. It's a time for closure. Time for reviewing what happened throughout the year, and as far as your preparation, you are getting ready for the new year, which actually comes in March, what we call March, which is what happens at the equinox. So it's a time, you look back over the year, so you're spending this season, this whole entire winter season, not stopping at a random date on the calendar, which is not actually accurate, but, seasons usually last about 90 days or so. So with the season of winter in the northern hemisphere just beginning around the 21st, 22nd of the month that is called December, then how is it that in 9 days time we are all of a sudden starting a new year? How does that even make sense? Because we're still in the middle of winter, and the season when the new year starts is actually the season that we call spring, because there's an obvious change in which you have leaves growing and birds singing and flowers blooming, all those things representative of new growth, new birth, new life coming into play. It's a cycle, it's a spiral that we go through each year, and we tend to be not using that time to our advantage. There's times when for change. There's times when change happens in between each season. After every 90 or so days, you have a period of time where it's moving from one season into the other season. So it's not truly winter, but it's not actually spring. So in these times, in these this variant, this crossover, we shall say, the energies are a little different, wherein the lines between those two seasons, we say, they're kind of blurred. So that's what we call sometimes the veil would be thinner at these times, and these are magical times of opportunity for creation or bringing things into being because of this thinness that we have between layers. But just wanted to mention, that these times, these are some, time to spend in, again, reflection and introspection and looking within and preparing so that when you do get to the new year, you are ready to bring forth what it is that you want to create, do what it is that you want to do, or reinvent yourself, spend those 90 days of winter, 91 days of winter are times spent, or can be best spent in, again, reviewing the year. So, it's a good time to journal, so you can write these things down so that when you get to the new year, you're able to look back and say, okay, this is what happened, this is what I did like, what I didn't like, and this is what I'd like to see. And you can have a a plan or a map or concept of what it is that you want to bring forth with the new year. So just a couple of prompts you may want to use for your journal would be, what did you learn in the months before? So you spend some time and think about what did you learn? Did you pay attention to the fact that you learned that the things that you're eating are not the best for you? They're not doing the things that you'd like them to do. They're not serving you in the best manner. So you learned that you need to make some changes to bring about a healthier you, a healthier body, those type of things. Or you may notice that you're not maintaining your boundaries as you should be. You're letting these people come in and you keep saying yes to everything, and you end up not having time for yourself to do the things that you would like to do. So think about, number one, think about the things that you saw, things that you realize that you need to change. That could be one of your prompts. Another one would be, what is it that you may have outgrown? What is something that you recognize, that you noticed, that you paid attention to during the previous months, that you realize that this is something that you don't need to deal with anymore, that you have learned the lesson? Because remember, you keep getting the same lesson over and over and over again until you pass the test. And each time you don't pass the test, the questions get harder. Still related to the same subject, but the questions get harder in order to bring about that growth for you to be able to see the thing that it is that you need to see, or the things that you need to see, or whatever it is you need to recognize, so that you can pass the test and move on to the next test. And sometimes you might get a little quiz on the same subject, just to make sure that you have actually learned what it is that you need to learn. But you will continue with the same test until you pass. So you prompt was, what is it that you have outgrown? What is it that you need to let go of? And this could be many things. It could be something about yourself you recognize, or a place that you frequent that you don't need to frequent anymore, or people that you realize don't need to be in your life anymore, or you learned something new, some concept new that is different than what you thought. You recognize that perhaps you need to take on this new concept, or at least learn about this new concept, so you can move on to the next phase. And then the last prompt, which is in some ways connected to the first two, so it's, in your best interest to do the first two first. So then the last one, which is what sets you up most for the new year and what it is that you want to continue, is what is it that you are ready to bring forth? And again, this could be a specific trait you want to have, or something physical you want to do with yourself. You might decide that you want to change up your wardrobe and be more, have a more business type attire, or perhaps you want to, bring it down a notch. Maybe you want to have a more casual attire, or maybe there's something physical you want to do. Maybe you want to write a book, or maybe you want to take up a new hobby, something along those lines. But that would be one of the things that you could do in preparation for the new year. So just a little note, just a little session, little joint to remind you that this is the season for reflecting, reviewing, and getting ready for renewal. That's what we got for today. We will talk soon. Peace.